But the character is important, right? And the value you're giving is important. What you give is what you get in the end. You know what to do within your strengths or even outside of your strengths to push yourself better, to build more capacity. So just do it.
Welcome to the Limitless Journey podcast. Here we share the inspiring stories of young people who are making a real difference in their communities. We hope these stories of change and transformation motivate you to take action, live your best life, and also achieve your dreams. I'm your host, Success Yole Areeveso, and I'm beyond excited to take you on this journey with us. Let's dive in. Welcome to the second season of the Limitless Journey podcast. I am beyond thrilled to have you here, and I'm super excited that we've launched a new season. To kick things off, our first guest is none other than the incredible Onyinye Oguego. I had the privilege of chatting with Onyinye, and let me tell you, she is an absolute powerhouse. With her extensive experience in management consulting, project and product management, international development, and strategic implementation, it's no wonder that she is a force to be reckoned with. As the co-founder of MyStash, Onyinye has created a financial management platform that makes saving and making money moves easier than ever before. On top of that, she is the head of programs at Feed Me Foundation, where she works to eliminate hunger and improve the health and well-being of communities through access to healthy and nutritious food, community education, and advocacy. To top it all off, Onyinye is a recipient of the Tony Elumelu Foundation Grant for Entrepreneurs, a huge achievement. In this episode, she shares her unique journey and what it means to be a multi-potentialite, owning the different expressions of her life. Her story is one of resilience, courage, and also showing up, and it's sure to inspire you to do the same. So what are you waiting for? Let's dive in and listen to Onyinye's incredible journey. And don't forget to spread the word. The second season of the Limitless Journey podcast is here, and it's better than ever. How are you doing? And how was your day?
Hello, hi Success. I'm very fine, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yes, I've actually had a great day, very productive day. So I'm happy about that.
Amazing. So can you introduce yourself to the audience? You just gave us like a short bio about yourself. So I believe hearing you introduce yourself would be better off.
Interesting. My name is Onyinye Oguego. Onyinye is many things. So I would say I'm many things because I have multiple passions and interests which I pursue. I'm a business development professional. I'm also a marketing professional. I have worked in the private sector and the public sector. I'm also an entrepreneur. And like you mentioned, I have experience management consulting, programs management, product management, business development, communications. I've worked in the United Nations. I've worked with ECOWAS. I've worked with a couple of companies here and there. And I think at the core of everything I do is just ensuring that I'm helping, I'm giving value and impacting lives and businesses. So I think in a nutshell, that's who I am. And I'm sure that in the course of this conversation, you'll find out more and more about me.
That's like you have experiences among different sectors. That's really interesting. And I like the fact that you said you are a marketing professional. So I have like a little bias in that because I started branding and marketing for non-profit early last year in a way. And that's been like an amazing journey. So I'm definitely looking forward to hearing how that has been for you. But first off, I would like to ask if where you grew up, like your background kind of like affected what you're currently doing now.
Okay. So I grew up in a family of 5. So my mother, my father, 3 children. I'm the first of 3 children. Both my parents are entrepreneurs, so they have their own businesses. My dad is in power sector, is a power consultant, has an energy firm. My mom is a fashion designer. Funny story, my grandmother is also a fashion designer, and again, my great grandmother. So wow. I guess I'm from a generation of families of fashion designers and tailors. But yeah, so I grew up with both my parents, being business owners, and that's, I guess, that was my first introduction to entrepreneurship, making money, buying and selling and the likes. So I do think that had a huge impact on how I see things. I'm somehow able to see business opportunities in everything, right? In every space, every problem. I'm like, but instead of complaining about this, if we did this, you could actually sell and win-win, solve the problem, make some money while doing that. I'm also, by virtue of my mom's business, she does bespoke tailoring for women in Abuja. And so by virtue of that, I've been able to also have access to women who are professionals in different fields, across different fields. And so what that has done, or what I think now in retrospect, what that did for me while growing up was, after school, you're just sitting, in your mom's sister, or sit there in her shop, and then people come and then they're talking about maybe work, business, and conversations could span across, hitting the next deal, going for promotion, how to handle difficult colleagues. These are conversations that I would just, listen to. Sometimes they came with specific advice for me. Sometimes it was just, passive knowledge. But I think what that helped me do in growing up and shaping my mindset is that there was absolutely nothing I could not do. I've seen women in different positions, high positions in agriculture, in power, in government, so it just made me understand that the limits whatever limit I see is the one I have put on myself. So I never had to struggle with, maybe I can't do this because I'm a woman, or I'll be the only woman in the room, or nothing like that. Because I grew up seeing a lot of strong women, breaking boundaries. And it wasn't even, it was just, we're working hard. We want to do this, so we're going to do this, right? So I think that's something that really helped with regards to how I view things. And I say this now in retrospect because I have to think about it. But growing up, I didn't even know that I was having that amount of impact on me. And then lastly, so right now, my major job, or my day-to-day job, would really be in a fintech. And I think something that led me into finance would be the training I had as a child. So I think I said this before, while growing up, my parents used to reward us for chores. And so for every time you sweep, you get money. I can't remember exactly how much, maybe 15 naira, 10 naira. But every time you do something, you get. So it was a win-win situation because the house was always spotless. Like my siblings and I would literally be arguing, like, no, I want to sweep. No, I don't want to, because then whoever did the work would get paid some sort of money. And then after that, you also have to account how you spend your money. So if at the end of, that break, that school break, maybe holidays, you have spent most of your money buying sweets and chocolates and chewing gum, you won't get any reward. But if you've saved, your money, my mom would double your savings.
Wow.
So, it's not on this scheme, but that just, that got me to the point where I understood that you had to save. Like, not everything that comes into your hand is for spending. So when people do dash us money, my mom will actually give you like, if so just dash you 500 naira, you will keep it. But then at the end of the holiday, you need to count, what did you do with that 500 naira? What did you do with the 1,000 naira that you've made collectively this holiday? So you say, I gave this you or this, and then whatever you save, my mom will always double it if you have savings. If you didn't have savings, then you get a whole lecture on how can you shouldn't be that wasteful, So I think that helps way back from primary school. I guess into secondary school, I used to manage my funds. I used to help people manage their funds. I was like a mini bank. People would give me their money. I would have like, a sheet for everybody, like,
like Ajo. They call it Ajo.
Like, it wasn't Ajo. It was, so I went to Faith Academy, Kinaland. And they give each person, we used to call it purchase checks. So they were, it was like a Naira, Faith Academy Naira, so to speak. So we had our own currency. And so everybody had, I think we started out with 700 Naira a month. At some point, they increased to 1,000 Naira a month. At some point, they increased to 1,200 a month. But everybody had the same amount of money that they be giving to you. Right. And so what I used to do for them was people would come and give me that money. So if they're giving you 1,000 naira, you give me the whole 1,000 naira and I'll manage it for you. Meaning every day I'll bring out what you use for break time. On Sundays, it was a Christian school. So on Sundays, I'll package everybody's offering. You tell me how much was being offered. If it's 10 naira, 20 naira, I'll package your offering, I'll give it to you in church, like that. At the end of the term, I will tell you this how much you have left. Some people would want to save to the end of the term so that they can, after exams, they can have a little money to splurge on drinks and snacks. Some people want to carry it over, like, okay, I have $100, but I want to carry it over to the next term. So I was like a mini bank. Like, I would help you structure your finance, help give you, in bits and pieces, save for you. If you wanted to carry over to the next term, I would do that. Like, I did that from just 2 all the way till I graduated, just to 23. So, now in retrospect, it just made me see that not only was I wouldn't say I'm perfect with regards to finance management, but not only have I done that for myself, and have I ingrained that discipline in myself, I've also been able to help people to do it consistently, right? And so these are just things that I believe fed in from my upbringing, both knowingly and unknowingly. I don't think my mom was doing that, like, oh, fintech, you're going to go into fintech or anything. I felt like it was just, maybe her way of ensuring that we're not wasteful. Whenever you have money, ensure that you manage it properly. There's always a rainy day, save for emergencies and things like that. So I think in a nutshell, those are the things at this time that I can immediately link, oh, this is what happened while I was growing up, and this is how, as an adult now, it has helped.
Wow. That's like a lot of lessons, thinking about it. And I like the fact that you mentioned you had positive role models around you, especially as a lady or as a woman now. And I enjoy your story about, money management, savings, and it brought back so much memories to me. And I remember also as a child, we used to save little amounts of money from our school money fare or tea fare they give you every day to school, maybe money to buy drinks or something. So I remember I used to save a little bit from whatever my parents used to give me, but they don't double it. So I think you had a great one on financial management and managing money, which is really good. And I liked the way you linked your experiences to your upbringing and how it has positively impacted your life. So that's a really good one. Yeah. So from your background experience in private sector, both public sector, you've worked like for various organizations that you have so many things that you like or so many things that you were interested in doing. So how are you like able to streamline this and focus on a particular thing that in every season of your life? And also, did you think it affected your choice of studying the university?
I've always known that I had multiple interests. I've always known that I couldn't really be bound by one thing. So where do I even start from? So in the beginning, I wanted to be a doctor. And that was just because I wanted to help people, really. I just always wanted to help people. And then I used to watch a lot of Nigerian movies. I don't know if that's good or bad, but then growing up, I saw that in a lot of Nigerian movies, the doctors were always seen as not the bad ones, but then always, we can't treat this person because they don't have money. You have to pay the deposit, and you see them crying. They'll now go, they'll sell their land, sell everything, they'll come back. Oh, we already have that. It just made me sad. And I felt like if I was a doctor, I wouldn't want to do that, right?
Okay.
And so I switched and I said, you know what? I wouldn't be a doctor. I would do other things, ensure that I have the funds to help people who need medical help. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I dropped my job. And then I get into school, I get into secondary school, and it's time to decide what to do in university. And I was very confused because people were choosing based on, their lifelong dreams. Oh, I want to be a doctor or lawyer. People were choosing based on what their families wanted them to do. People were choosing based on their parents. Oh, I'm good in math. Oh, I don't like math. Oh, I like English. So I want to do math school. Like things like that. But I wouldn't say I was great at every subject, but there was also I was trying to avoid. And I did not particularly, exclusively love any subject. And my parents were like, whatever you want to do, we'll support you. And so they were very helpful in giving me different resources to read so I could see different careers that were open to me, but they were not going to tell me to do this. Then, so I was just in that stage where I wasn't sure what career I wanted to chase and what next thing to do. So I stumbled on a course called Management Information Systems. And when I asked, they said, it's a combination of business administration and computer science. And when you do that, you can do anything. You run your business, work anywhere, what. And I thought, okay, this is it. I'm going to do this just because it gives me a lot of room to explore my different interests, which right now I cannot decide which one I want to be. So I did that. I studied systems, and it's funny because I did that. I wasn't, apparently it's not a course that every school has, but I'm not even sure how, but I ended up doing information systems. And then that just continued. So after school, I'm just then now highlighting what are the things I want to do? How do I want to help? I started with management consulting, and I absolutely loved it because then I was helping businesses. And I love the fact that for each business that we worked with, it was need-based. Okay, what is your business about and what do you need help? And we'll review the business and we'll see how we could help. It could be inventory management, it could be operations management, it could be marketing better, it could just be, your branding and communication. So I think for me, that even made me love businesses more, and I could directly see the impact of my work on the person's business. So my whole life path has not necessarily not been, okay, we're going to be stuck to one particular path. I've always known. In fact, there was this time when I decided to do research on what are people like me called. I can't be the only one in the world who behaves like exactly things like this. Right? And I found a word called multi-potentialite, and I think that fully encapsulates who I am. And so finding that word made me believe that, this is who I am. I'm going to own it. I have different interests. I'm going to the best of my ability, manage them properly. And at the points where they intersect, I will own that intersection.
Wow. That's really nice, because it's not easy for people to, own who they are, and because trying to streamline things these days can be a little bit difficult. And in a world whereby knowing who you are, knowing what you want to do is glorified, whereby there is this saying that goes, you have to streamline your brand and focus just on one thing. It has really taken a whole lot, and people have to just try and say, if they don't have a particular interest, or they don't have what they are actually supposed to do, they won't be able to move forward with their life. So I really like the fact you're able to discover and accept that you had multiple interests, and then you were just able to follow that through. And this thing with courses, like saying when you study this particular course, you'll be able to study anything, is also very popular in Nigeria as well too. Especially when they don't give a course that you are supposed to do, they will tell you, don't worry, just do the course. You'll be able to work anywhere with it. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience on that. I would like to move over to your time working with nonprofits and social impact projects. How did it start? What prompted you to start advocating for eradicating hunger, and the amazing work that you've done with your organization, Feed Me Foundation? Just want to know how that happened. And you also mentioned that you won grants, raised funds for these organizations and handled projects. So how was that for you? Because this is also my field, so I have a lot of questions to ask.
Okay, so like I said, the common thread in everything I do is helping individuals, helping businesses. So I'm a foodie. I love food. I love everything about food. Buying, cooking, baking, shopping, everything about food excites me. I watch a lot of cooking shows. And so for me, I just felt like people shouldn't have to sleep hungry. People shouldn't have to, go through a whole day starving. And for someone who loves food so much, I just thought, okay, you love food, like there are people out there who cannot love food because they don't even have access to it, right? It's a of what's it called now? Survival. They only have food to survive. So there's no that luxury of, oh, I like this over this. It's not even there. That was what it was born out of, really. And so my partner reached out to me and said, oh, I really want to help people. I was thinking, how can we help people? I know you also like to help people. We had worked together before doing our NYSC days. And she's like, I know you like to help people. So let's do this together. And I'm like, food, it has really been on my mind, how can I help people in terms of food, and how can we make it sustainable and long term? Because before the foundation was instituted, I used to help people around me, just in my local community, give them food from time to time, bag of rice, share for a few families and things like that. But that wasn't sustainable, right? So for Feed Me Foundation, we decided that we're going to help people to feed better, balanced diet, and it also help them to become what we call food sufficient. What that means is that they're not able to earn enough money to be able to get themselves, at least three square meals.
Wow.
And so we had the food, the FAB program, the food assistance box program. So for that, what we did was we have a box of different food items across the different classes of food. So yam, egg, rice, beans, curry, all of that, put in a box that we give to our beneficiaries every month for 6 months. So the content of the box should last a family of 5 or family of 5 to 6 for at least 4 to 6 weeks. So we give them that food box every month for 6 months. And within those 6 months, we try to ensure that, they either go for a training or we set them up for a business. So we give mini grants. So 20K, 50K. And so people say, that's very small. What kind of business can you start with 20K or 50K? We had people who have started Zobo, fruit juice. We've had someone who had a hair salon before, but she just needed additional instruments just so that she could start it again because the business had died before. So that it had very helpful. So we've had families who, they had only one person bringing in money, but they're just being able to empower the other parents, means that the family can now feed sufficiently. We also taught them and trained them on how to be able to achieve the balanced diet, even with little funds, right? So you don't have to eat rice every day, being able to take advantage of vegetables and fruits in season. So that was how it was born, and that's what we're doing right now. Our major projects that's concurrent is the FAB program. We also have bigger visions, being able to have a soup kitchen and all of that. But there's also that bit of just helping people. Like when we started this, I realized that there's so much food that we have that gets wasted. So there are different, when I think about Food Foundation, there are different ways that I believe that the organization could grow into, such that we're also helping to reduce food wastage. We're also helping to just grow within that food value chain and the ecosystem, of producing food, to see where is the place that we can help the most and give the most value, and how can we plug these beneficiaries into it. That's what we do. In terms of getting grants and funding for our programs, we really just reach out to well-meaning individuals. So I think social media has helped. Our very first program, we had it all across social media. Random people donated. I think it was very interesting. On my birthday every year, I tell people that's my birthday gift. That's what I want, just donate to the foundation. Let's be able to help more people. And then, reaching out to companies to see people who'd be willing to partner with us just to help us to achieve this, not just giving them food. I feel like giving them food for 6 months is actually the easy part. The hard part is being able to ensure that they can then feed themselves afterwards. And interestingly, some of them don't even have to stay till 6 months. Some of them, by the 3rd month, by the 4th month, they're already making money. They don't need us anymore. So we stop. We're like, okay, now you can feed your family, so we don't need to give you food anymore.
So many things came up for me, when you were sharing what you do with your foundation. You had mentioned that you had noticed something called food wastage, and as much as you're also trying to eradicate hunger, that's also something that's there. Can you share more light on that? Okay,
so there's a food waste problem in Nigeria, right? So I'm not very sure, so don't quote me, but then I think about 40% of food that is produced in Nigeria is lost after harvest.
Wow.
And it's due to different reasons, storage reasons, perhaps the harvesting techniques that are used, and also because we don't have that, manufacturing capacity, so to speak. So, for example, I know even just yesterday, I was talking to a friend about Benue. She's from Benue. She went to visit her family and she came back. She's telling me how she bought some mangoes from her. She's telling me how, when she went to buy mangoes, that there are piles of mangoes that have already gone to waste. They're already spoiled. Like they're just there. Like they've just thrown it away. It's just there. Like she showed me a picture, and my heart broke because there are people who would never take fruits, not because they don't want, but because they feel like I've not even finished eating food. Isn't that a mango I want to buy? Yes. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I felt like if we were just channeling our harvest properly, I don't see why we cannot give those mangoes to companies that are producing concentrates for juice, or companies that do dried fruits. Now we have companies that do dried fruits for snacks and things like that. So we don't have enough of them, to take the capacity of what we're producing. So the food wastage problem, there's a lot, there's a lot around it, and it's what I call a multifaceted problem. It's not one way. It's not it's because of storage. Let's go and build storage houses, or it's because we're not processing enough. Let everybody start processing in their houses. It's a multifaceted problem. It's something that you would have to tackle from different angles until you reduce it to the barest minimum.
I think I really like the fact that you said it's not something that we could solve, using one approach. And the fact that you pointed that a lot of people can't even afford like a 3 square meal. And so eating fruit is out of the game for them. So they wouldn't even consider doing that. And you just open my eyes to food wastage as a major issue in Nigeria regards to cold storage and other problems that they face. In terms of building your foundation, do you get support in terms of human hands, like volunteers, or is it just you and your team? Or because you had mentioned you had a partner, and if you have volunteers, have you been able to build this up? Because I noticed that volunteering is something that is very popular in Nigeria as well, and it's a common thread where they would admonish young people to volunteer for people. And if you actually do have volunteers, what are like some of the lessons and the keys that you would share on that point for organizations that are managing volunteers, and for also young people that are looking forward to volunteer with organizations?
Okay, so yes, we do work with volunteers, and before Film Foundation, I've worked with volunteers in the past in different capacities. And I think something that I've learned that runs across board is being able to tally the interest of the volunteer with the interest of the organization.
Powerful.
Right. So, like you said, young people are always told to volunteer, and then people who just want to volunteer just so that they can have something on their CV.
Yes.
Right. I'm not saying that's bad. Sometimes you just need to do what you need to do to get to somewhere. That's okay. But when I meet people like that, I actually, genuinely have a conversation one-on-one, painstakingly have a conversation with each person to say, what's your reason for doing this? And you don't have to lie. You don't have to embellish the facts. Just if you're just doing because, you feel like I have some free time and I'm trying to apply for maybe masters and I feel like it's going to help my application. That's fine. That's your motivation, right? And so if that's your motivation, I also want to know what are your skill sets. If, for example, you're someone that you really love, content creation and social media, and then you come to volunteer for me, and I put you in food disbursement, you're not going to be motivated to do the work, right?
Yes.
You're going to probably drag your feet to do it. I'm not going to get that energy from you. So what I try to do and what I would advise is when working with volunteers is to pair them with their strengths, especially because you're not paying for this, right? So you want to pair them with their strengths and things that they already enjoy doing. And that could help is when you're calling out for volunteers, you could specifically say, volunteers needed for this, right? And so at the point of feeling or indicating their interest in volunteering, they can pick the aspects that they would like to volunteer. I think that really helps because, there was a time when we'd have volunteers and we felt like, they're not motivated enough. You call for meetings, not everybody shows up. And I realized that, because we had just put them in different bits and pieces of the program without actually marrying them to what they like to do and what their interests are. So once I was able to reshuffle the team, productivity went off the roof. Like it was great, and that's what I've taken for every time I'm working with volunteers, and even working with employed staff. Right, it's just ensuring that people or helping people to play to their strengths or play to what they want to get better at. So somebody may not be great at social media, for example, again, but then if they want to learn it, that's already an interest that you're going to help them to grow. So you want a volunteering experience to be a win-win situation. It shouldn't just be about the organization. You also want the volunteer to leave fulfilled, like, I did this. Yes, I have something I can put on my CV, but I also learned ABC. Do you understand? So those are the things that work for me.
Powerful. I like the fact that you mentioned matching volunteers with their strengths. And also, another thing I also add to that is that as young people trying to offer our skills to organizations, it can also be like a learning phase. So let's say, for example, you notice this organization does not have that capacity yet. You can recommend it to them and say, oh, I think I can be able to help you do this. And is this something that you would want for your organization? That way, if it's something that they are looking forward to, they can maybe create a role or a room for you to also grow and also show up in most activities. I noticed that a lot of organizations, when they call out for projects, they will have a lot of people that will sign up as volunteers. But when it's time for implementing it, they won't see like a lot of people that, come out for the project or that help them organize that. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing your experience with the non-profit. Like, I really like the way this conversation is really going. It's like I'm touching different aspects of your life. And now I'm getting to like the major part of this conversation. You won the Tony Elumelu Grant. That's a big deal. That's a huge deal. Like, I really see a lot of people that post about the application season for that grant. I think it comes out beginning of every year, and it's like about $5,000 if I'm correct, and then they help to like sponsor your business or your foundation or something like that. So just share your experience, applying for that, winning that, and how it has helped you, your development, the organization or the company that you applied for that grant with, and how that has developed over time. And probably maybe some lessons that you've gotten from it, and just to encourage other young people as well too.
So the Tony Elumelu Foundation, nutshell, is a gift that keeps giving, right? I was at Tony Elumelu. I won the grant in 2019.
Wow.
We had training, which was great. They had put us in different groups. So I live in Abuja, so we had a group of the Abuja entrepreneurs. I also really, really enjoyed that. I love the fact that I was in a space with different business owners and entrepreneurs who were like hungry, like, oh, how can we make our businesses better? And then going through the Onyinye Foundation, the program, you could also see that your business is not just about you, it's collectively, how are we making the continent better? And every time I get the opportunity, I always want to say a huge and big shout and thank you to Tony Elumelu, right? So you have a lot of people who talk about how, oh, Africa needs to be better, Africa needs to do this and that. But he's one of the few people who is putting his money where his mouth is and saying, you know what, we're going to do something about that. We're going to do it by empowering businesses. And so I applaud him for that over and over and over again. Now, with regards to the process in itself, I found it very interesting. I found that I'm not sure if the application form or the details have changed now, but at the time when I applied, when filling out the form, it gave me clarity about my business, right? It made me think about things that I typically wouldn't think about when thinking about the business, and that was because when you're running a business day to day, right, or when you're even thinking of a business idea, because when I applied, my business was just an idea. It had not started. I had never registered the company. Nothing. It was literally just an idea. In fact, I have an idea book.
Are you serious?
Oh yes. Oh, till now, I always have a book on me. Anywhere you find me, you can ask. I always have a book on me. And so when an idea comes, I write it out. I don't type it in my notes. I'm old school, I guess. I write it out, and then at home I transfer it, or maybe over the week when I have time, I transfer it to a book I call an idea book. And so when I wanted to apply for the Onyinye Foundation, I went to my idea book and I flipped through to look at the different ideas that I had stumbled or had crossed my mind. I mentioned before that I experience opportunities in almost everything.
Yeah.
So I was just going to my idea books to think, which business do I think I'm ready to handle now? Do I think I can easily run? I was just thinking about which one would be suitable for me at this time of my life. And I was going to use that to apply. So that's what I did. So it was purely an idea. And, in filling the form, I just realized, I didn't think about this part. Oh, okay. I didn't think about, that clarity that just filling the form alone gave me. I was very excited. And to be very honest, I didn't think I was going to fail or I was not going to get it. But I don't know how to explain it. I just, my dad had been encouraging me to apply. He had been like, oh, look at this thing now. Look at that. Who's going to apply? So he had been encouraging me to apply. So I literally applied one because my father had been telling me to apply. How likely right now to this thing again? One. Two, I wasn't sure, like we've mentioned, I'm established in this conversation, I have multiple interests. I was not sure which one I wanted to start doing. you know, and the way the form is, you need clarity. You cannot say you're doing everything. You need clarity, right? I literally applied the day of the deadline. So I even thought, I don't have time to go through it again. I don't have time to sleep on it. I just thought, you know what? God is in your hands. I've applied. I'm going to move on with my life. So when I saw the results, it was amazing. In fact, if then the way they used to announce it, and your names will be on papers and different websites and all of that before you even get a mail. So I have people already calling me. Some people are like, "Oh, I saw your name. I saw." I'm like, "You saw my name where? What are you talking about?"
Wow!
It was a very amazing experience, just knowing that. Wow. Okay, so my idea book is not a dump after all. Like, there are things in there that somebody could read without me even being physically there to explain what I mean or explain the vision. A person could understand the vision and feel like, okay, you know what, you're worthy to be part of this program and get funded by this program. And why I say is even is I did it in 2019, right? But and for a different business. But then now I'm a co-founder of a Fintech, my stash, but then my stash has also benefited from Tony Elumelu Foundation with different programs. So just last year, 2022, I was one of the beneficiaries of the SAFIM program. And the SAFIM program was run with Tony Elumelu Foundation. It was a program where they're going to give funding to female entrepreneurs, funding of I got about 45,000 euros from that program. Right. And this was 2-3 years after I was done with my initial program with the foundation. And then we keep getting access to different other opportunities, trainings, and that network, that community of entrepreneurs across Africa is priceless. So if you're listening to me today and you need, that sign or that signal to apply for the program, please do. Like, you never know where it would lead to. I've met amazing people who I honestly would never have met if I had not been part of the program, and I don't even know, as I say, I don't know what good news or what other opportunity we presented to me just as being a beneficiary or being a member of the foundation. So it's been an amazing experience. And yes, it is a big deal. I believe that everyone who believes in their idea, I think you just need to believe in your idea first and then gain that clarity to be able to accurately communicate the business idea that you're trying to pitch to the company, to the foundation. And then lastly, don't give up. So if you don't get it, I got it once, I applied once, I got it once. There are people who had tried 3 times. Oh, I've tried 3 times, the third time was a chance. Somebody I met recently said, he had applied 5 times, but the 5th time he got it. He got it, and it was very funny. That him and his brother, his cousin, his friends, they had all applied that 5th time and they all got in at once. I'm like, wow, like your whole family, so please don't give up. Sometimes it may not just be that the idea is not good enough. It may just be that, they had just hit the slot. There's a limited number. So don't give up and just keep iterating on the idea, and we'll just see what God will do from there. Yeah.
Amazing. I really liked this because the fact that you mentioned that you applied on the day of the deadline, is there a magic with applying for things on the deadline? Because most times imagine if you didn't apply at all, you would have not even been a part of the foundation, the alumni, and also participating in that program that gave you funding for your business. Because right now you're an entrepreneur, right? And then you have your own, fintech, you have what you're doing, and you obviously enjoy the innovation that you're carrying out with your business, right? As an entrepreneur. And another thing that I also got from that is resilience. I like the fact that you had mentioned that you had an idea book. So I want to ask you this question. It just came off my mind. What's like an idea book? And why do you have one? Is it that you practice journaling? So I have mentors that used to always encourage me, like, success, I think you should journal your thoughts, journal your idea to allow you feel much better and allow you to see things from a different point of view. So maybe share that before I would share my remaining lessons from your Tony Elumelu journey and stuff.
Interesting. I'm trying to start journaling. I haven't really what's it called now, unlocked it. I do from time to time just sit down and write out my thoughts and how or sometimes I just realize, okay, the last quarter was great for maybe my stash or one of my companies. What made it so great and things like that. So I wouldn't say I'm a consistent journaler in quotes, some of their journals. But why do I have? Because I'm always literally busting with ideas. Like some of them are very ridiculous, some of them are not. But then I just always have. I just thought to myself, I was one day randomly. I just thought to myself, I was doing myself a disservice by not documenting these ideas, because even though I felt like I may not be able to do everything, but I just thought, you should document it, because sometimes some ideas would come from another idea you get. So maybe you have an idea to start selling what's now maybe food. But then from there, you now realize that, there isn't a proper care plan for people that are diabetic. And then from there, you're thinking, how can we have a healthcare company that includes nutrition with technology for diabetes? So you see, that came from, let me sell food, right? But then if you had completely forgotten about, I want to sell food, you probably would not have gotten to that point of, creating a health plan for diabetic people and things like that. So I just always believe that sometimes they're embedded in each other, sometimes they're not, and it just gives you clarity, right? So, and that's another reason why, if you're going to take this to start having an idea book, I would recommend that it is a physical book. There's something that happens when you write. I don't know, but then when you're writing freely, you just keep getting more and more ideas. And I've tested this with different people. Like you're writing, if I ask you, so how are you? Fine. What was your day like? My day was good. But if you are writing, freely and truly to yourself, how are you feeling? And then you start to think to yourself, somebody actually annoyed me earlier in the day, and that pissed me off for some time. So there's that thing, that when you're writing out, right? And so to answer your question in a nutshell, I just thought to myself, I'm doing myself a disservice by not documenting my random ideas. And I have in the middle of the day, I'm just thinking, I can just look up and just think, how did that thing get up there? What company does that? What business is that? And I'm thinking, what if they did this more efficiently? And I just like, maybe I can offer this service to them. I just write it down. Like sometimes I'm consulting for a startup, and I'll flip through my idea book to see if I ever had an idea within that. And sometimes I just give it to them, like, I wanted an idea to do this. But your company is already on that path, so you may want to try this out. So it's not even, it just helps. I don't know how to explain it, but it just helps, one, to give you clarity on your idea. It helps to keep you grounded when you're thinking. And I think thirdly, it also helps to build belief in yourself, because then you see that, you're also a creative person. You see that there's ideas can be channeled through you. I feel like there's also ideas in the universe, and it's just looking for the right channels. I feel like so it also builds self-confidence when you can look at a book and think of, there's so many things I can decide to do with my life, at any point in time. Yeah.
Wow. I like that. I think I'm going to have an idea book, because I get ideas spontaneously. Like I just think, why don't we do this? Why don't we go here? Why don't we create something like this? But I feel documenting it will definitely help a lot, because one day I would want to look back at my ideas and see how I can be more innovative. Like I liked the way you structured it and said, you went back to your idea book and you said, what can I do now at this point in my life? And how can I allow my light shine through? And also when you were sharing your story about applying for the Tony Elumelu Grant, something stood out for me. You said your dad had asked you to apply and said, I think you should apply for this. And you were like, I wasn't so sure about it, but you decided to give it a shot. And there's something I always say, shoot your shot. You never know what will happen. The most important thing is that let your application, just be there, and let the people be the ones to judge. And I like the fact that they don't really send you guys different emails. You have to see from different portals and everything. I don't know how they do it now, but from your experience, I like the fact that it was like that, and other people had to tell you that, I saw you at this particular point. So how did you feel when you got the news that you were selected for this opportunity? And what are some of the lessons that you got utilizing your time as a Tony Elumelu Foundation Grant winner? Some people get access to opportunities, but they don't know how to effectively use it. I feel like you have used, it's not even I feel, you used the opportunity very well. That's the reason why you're able to get another opportunity as an alumni of the foundation. So how were you able to seize this opportunity from the point of winning it to the extent that you were able to come out strong and be someone that has been really recognized as an alumni with the foundation, and how people can also do that with other opportunities that they win.
Let me start with adding to what you said. So with regards to shooting your shot, right? What I tell myself and I tell people around me is the answer is already no. I think you've not tried. Like as it stands now, if you're thinking of let me apply to Tony Elumelu Foundation, the answer is already no because you haven't applied, right? And so what I always say is it only gets better because you've not applied, you're not already in. Once you apply, there's now a higher chance of it being yes or it's remaining a no. So when I apply for something and I don't get it, I try to not. Sometimes it hurts. Like sometimes it's actually very painful. But I tell myself it was already a no. If you didn't apply for it, you did not have it, right? But the applying for it just keeps you a step further to getting it. So I always tell people it only gets better once you apply. Because if it's a no, it was already a no. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Now, with regards to how to handle or harness opportunities, I think for a lot of programs, right? It's and honestly, I think that's also how life is. It's really what you put in that you get out, And so when you get an opportunity, what I would say is to take a minute to just think through what do I want to achieve from this aside the immediate benefits. And so, for example, using the Tony Elumelu Foundation, the immediate benefit was the funds, right? And the training and the fund. What do I want to achieve aside that? For me, I wanted to increase my access to entrepreneurs. I did my undergrad in Ghana. And so coming back to Nigeria, I did not have a lot of friends in Nigeria, or a lot of people in Nigeria. Most of people I went to school with, primary school, they were not in the country anymore. People I schooled in university with, they were mostly in Ghana. I had few Nigerian friends, that were physically in Nigeria. And I thought this was a great opportunity to network with people here in Nigeria and who also had a common thread, which was business owners, entrepreneurs, people that want to ensure that Nigeria is better, people that are working together to make Africa better. So for me, I one of the important things was that access, that getting friends, learning from other business owners. It was important to me. And so when there were meetings like physical meeting for entrepreneurs in Abuja, I would be there. I will not miss it. And it wasn't compulsory. Those things were not compulsory, but I will always be there. I will be there and I'll be there on time. And then, I will make time for it. I will not, at the end of the meeting, be wanting to leave. I'm actually, sit back, talk about everybody's business. By then, I was already working in the management consulting. So some people, I will, help them look through their business and consult with them for free. Because I wanted to really build that relationship with people across the country who were business owners. And so for somebody else, it could be something else. It could be you really want to build your network across mentors. And so this Tony Elumelu Foundation has a mentorship arm too. Everybody's attached to a mentor. So you could actually be intentional about building a relationship with your mentor so that after the program, you continue having that relationship with your mentor and could also meet other mentors through that mentor. So really, it depends on what you want. What you put in is really what you get out. Nobody's going to beat you to say, hi, you've not met your mentor today. Hey, we're not going to give you the money again. No. But then if to you feel like there's value in mentorship and you want to harness that value, then what's the word now? Just prioritize that relationship. And the same goes across for the opportunity. When you go to school, you go for masters. Some people decide my priority is academics. I want to be, an A-class student. I want to have straight A's. And then they bury their head in their book. Some people are there for the networking, and then they bury themselves in ensuring that every single person in this class or in this group is my friend, or at least to some extent knows me and I know the person well enough. For some people, it is the lecturers. I want to connect to lecturers because maybe I also want to be a professor or something like that. So really, it helps just know what you want to get out of the opportunity, whatever opportunity it is, even in your career. It helps know what do I want to get out of it, and then how can I get what I want, and then you just work towards it. I think that's something that has worked for me with regards to ensuring that I'm making the most out of different opportunities.
This is a masterclass. Thank you for sharing. I like the fact that you said it is what you put in. That's what you're definitely going to get out. Because most times people just win a lot of opportunities and they see people that win a lot of opportunities. They admire them and they keep on asking themselves, how do I be a part of
part of this or be a part of this organization or this foundation or be a fellow, of this program that people are currently organizing. But when they actually get into the room, they don't know how to harness it, they don't know how to use the opportunities. And I like the fact that you mentioned knowing fully well from the beginning when you are in the program, what do you want to get out of it, and mapping your time out of it. And the steps that you actually took were very important. So moving on, I would like us to talk more about your business. So you mentioned now that you're the co-founder of My Starch, right? But how did that start? I like the fact that this episode talks about how you've evolved over time and I see different opportunities, learning from people and using the support that you got from your parents, that's family support that you actually got, and then using that well. So what is My Starch all about? The grants you won as a result of the Tony Elumelu Foundation, how you helping people through this innovation. I'm going to use innovation a lot during this part of this episode because that's the main word for it.
So where do I start from? What is My Starch? What's it about, right?
Yeah.
So Fintech, based here in Nigeria, we're building for Africa. So we're a company that offers personal finance management solutions for individuals and for businesses. We have 3 major products, right? We have smart savings. And now for this, individuals, so people like you and I, can save in Naira or in dollars on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. Why are we saving in dollars? We're in Nigeria now.
Exactly.
Yes, we're saving in dollars because the Naira over time has experienced currency inflation. What does that mean? It means that today $1 is equals to 120 Naira. Tomorrow $1 is equals to 200 Naira. The next day is like, so it fluctuates a lot, right? And so we just wanted to give our users the opportunity to have access to something that is a bit more stable, and which is dollar. So you can decide if you're saving a bit more long term, or you're very conscious of the fact that you don't want your savings to be devalued or to have less value over time. You can save in dollars. And then for people who don't mind or who just believe that, I'm saving to get a phone and in 3 months I should be done, and by then dollar should not have any effect on me. That's fine, saving there. So it's quite flexible. We also have something called Profits by My Starch. That's my personal favorite. It's a saving solution for business owners. It helps them to save a portion of their income towards really anything they want. So for example, business expansion, reordering their costs. And we also have something called active budgeting. And so what that helps you do as a business owner, once your customer pays you money, you can automatically split the funds into different budget items. So for example, let me say you sell books, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you sell books. If you buy the book for 1,000 Naira, you sell the book for 4,000 Naira. So when a user pays 4,000 Naira for the book, we can automatically split 1,000 Naira into one account and the other 3,000 Naira into a different account. Now what that helps you do is it gives you better control over your funds, because now you have all the cost in one wallet and all your revenue in the other wallet. So you can automatically understand your profits. You know that when it's time to reorder, I can just pick up my 1,000 and go and reorder and continue running business like that. How the other bunch is, to settle other business expenses. It also helps you to save towards business expansion. You can also do that in dollars in case you're saving long term. I think my favorite is the active budgeting, because a lot of people don't know how to budget properly. And Profits by My Starch helps you to do that automatically. And then lastly, we have safety.
Wait.
Sorry?
You said something that your My Starch help people to budget properly. Please emphasize on that point, because that's a problem that I also have. Like, I was literally trying to budget before this call. I was trying to budget my expenses. Like, I was trying to say, this month I'm supposed to take some particular kind of courses and, my personal needs and my savings. So it was like a lot. At the point, I just closed the spreadsheet and I'm like, you know what? Let's do this later. So explain that part a bit.
Okay. So with regard to budgeting, right? So you can make that account your income account, and then you can budget what you want. So you just say 10% for transport, 10% for utilities, 20% for food, and things like that. And it helps you to split the funds across the different wallets for you to see how much you have for each. Do you understand? And then I think a general advice I can give for active budgeting is, I think first things first. One of the reasons that people go above budget is because they don't estimate properly, right? And honestly speaking, we can't do that for you. You need to be able to estimate properly. What do I mean by that? A lot of people don't know what I call their cost of living per month. What is your cost of existence? What does it cost for you to be, exist normally a month? So I always tell people the first thing you should do is try and understand, okay, in a month, and realistically, because you don't have to lie to yourself. You're talking to yourself, it's for you. How much do I spend on food in a month? How much do I spend on transport in a month? How much do I spend on enjoyment? How much do I spend on data, internet? How much do I spend on my hair? Literally, like the literal amount. If you don't know it offhand, you can look at your bank statements for over 2-3 months and articulate exactly how much it costs for you to exist. A lot of people don't know that amount. And that's why we have people who are earning, large amounts of money, but then they still don't understand how the money is finishing. Because your cost of existence is more than the income that you're earning. And so when you realize that, for example, I'm earning 200,000, my cost of living is 270,000. What that tells you is you have to dial back on your cost of living. You need to know that, okay, if it's costing me 270K to exist, that's a problem. I need to dial back because my income is 250. If it's costing you 70,000 naira to exist and your income is 50,000, that's why you're struggling. You're basically living from paycheck to paycheck. And you can't wait for next one. Like, hey, God, when salary will come, That's why, So I always tell people, so if you do that analysis, right, if you just sit down and have that honest session with yourself, you can then see why perhaps you should dial back on enjoyment. Perhaps you should dial back on maybe changing your hair every week. Perhaps you should dial back on eating out. So that would inform you to know what are the cost saving measures I can take to ensure that whatever I'm earning is enough to cover my cost of existence. And then after that, you can start having conversations about multiple streams of income. Okay, you need a side hustle because I'll dial back and you're saying that that's possible. No, it's not possible. I need to earn more money to be able to meet up with, my bills or my cost of existence per month. There's no added savings to that. So after you see that, okay, this is how much I need to exist as an individual, like my style of living. If you need to cut back, do that. If it's okay, that's fine. But then you now think of, in terms of saving, do I have an emergency fund? How much do I need to save to get an emergency fund? What's an emergency fund? An emergency fund is just, if something happens today, do you have a pool of funds that you can fall back on? Experts will tell you that your emergency funds should typically be at least 6 months of your salary. So if anything happens, if you lose your job today, you're able to, survive for 6 months. And I tell people, the average Nigerian is really just one health crisis away from being broke. Because we don't, we also don't believe insurance. So there's also that bit of if something happens and somebody needs urgent health care and expensive health care, and then they're going broke because they already do not have an emergency fund. So we need to have that, an emergency fund, and then you need to save for every, don't just get up and just how do I even say that, impulsively just be buying things and just be spending money and things like that. You need to understand that, especially for salaried earners who already know, you can already predict how much you're expecting. I think it helps you to understand what your expenses should be like, how much you're spending, and how much you can save. After saving, we had the conversation of investing, then we had the conversation of being able to multiply your money through investing, being able to build generational wealth. It's a process. But like you rightly said, it starts from budgeting. And before you can even budget, you need to understand, what is my cost of existing?
That's a good question for reflection. Success, what is your cost of existing? Thank you so much for sharing, Onyinye. I feel like this conversation has been really interesting, and let me just even put it that it just made my day, because I'm learning from different angles, from your different experiences, really, and it is so beautiful. So you had mentioned the different things that My Starch does. So how do people now get on board? Let's say, for example, I want to babe, I want to like only, does it work like we'll have to create an account with you guys and just like walk us through the process for people that are listening and they're having problems with budgeting, saving, and the amazing things that the amazing innovation that, My Stash does? How would they be able to go about that?
Okay, awesome. So all you have to do is download the My Stash app on Play Store or App Store. That's really it. Once you download,
I will link it on this episode.
Yes, amazing. So you can download the app. You can go on the website www.mystash.ng, or you search for My Stash on App Store or Play Store. And then we'll be able to walk you through any of the products that you want to sign up for. We also have a support channel there, WhatsApp channel, support channel there. If you have any questions, you can send a message on WhatsApp. I will be happy to, respond and to help you out.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I like this. So the links for everything that we've talked about in this podcast would be in the description. Wherever they are listening this podcast from whatever platform, you're definitely going to get access to the links, and also on how to connect with Onyinye as well too. If she provides that with me, would also put that there. So your journey as an entrepreneur, do you like experience, some hiccups on the way? What some of the lessons that you think someone should have told you before going into this? But I like the fact that you said this is your second business, right? The first one you did with the Elumelu grant and everything. So how has this been for you, just to inspire other young people and other females in that are looking forward to founding innovations like this or businesses like this?
Second business, actually, I run a lot of businesses, and I currently run multiple. But then, so what has been my journey, and have there been hiccups? Definitely, there have been hiccups. There have been disappointments. But two things: I don't believe in regrets. I believe that at every point in time, I did what I did with the knowledge I had at hand and what I thought was best to do. And so if at the point I realized, I should have done this better, I just realized that, I just didn't have enough information to do it better. So I just learned from that experience. And then with regards to disappointments and what I wish someone had told me, I don't think I've not heard it before. And people tell you it's hard. People tell you you need to be resilient. That no matter how passionate you are about the business, there will be times where you will get pushed and you'd actually consider, this is too much for me. You want to give up and things like that. And so there have been times where things get difficult, but something that I use, or what I hang on to, is because I've seen people do it. I've seen women do it. I've seen people who are similar to me make it in different aspects, and that's why I forever am grateful and thankful to all the women who have gone before us to show us what's possible. All the first woman to do this, first woman to do that. It's important, because then it shows you that you too can do it. It shows you that really, really, I like that the name of the podcast is Limitless. You actually are limitless, You're actually limitless, because the limits you put on the limit that you have is the limit that you put on yourself. And so the times where I feel like, this is very difficult, or things are not going as planned. It's very easy to write a business plan and project things like, we'll start today, and then in 3 months we have 10,000 users, and then in year 5 we'll go to this country, we'll expand to Africa, before the whole world. It's very easy to make projections and to draw business plans, but then you need to be resilient, right? And so in moments of disappointment, where I feel like things are not going as planned, and we projected that we're going to do this, and we're probably not hitting that, I will just go back to the place of prayer, because I'm a Christian, and that works for me. And then secondly, being able to re-inspire myself. I'll go and get inspiration from from people who have done it before. And it doesn't even have to be Nigerians, to be honest, because that's just, I just see the different places we're from, like lines on a map that divides us. So it doesn't have to be Nigerians. There are women all over the world doing great things. And you would read their stories of the different, difficulties that they encountered and how they were able to bounce back. And I come out from those kind of reading sessions or listening sessions more energized and more inspired. And sometimes I even get ideas from it like, oh, okay, so this is how this person handled when she was having this issue. Perhaps this can work in my context. Perhaps I can learn this particular, aspect from it. And so I'm always happy to welcome anybody and encourage anybody to their own entrepreneurship journey. But, owning it, understanding your own personality. There are people who would say, oh, this person is not doing her own like this now, or this person is doing, the way this person markets their business, they do it like this. But I'm like, you have to do what works for you and your personality type. Yes, you may need to push yourself out of your comfort zone, but you need to really understand yourself, what works for you, what works for your team and your own vision, and then go with it, understand. See, the place of self-discovery is so underrated. Self-discovery, self-clarity, understand what works for you.
Yes.
And be able to grow it and grow through that. I'm very happy with my journey. I wouldn't be anywhere else. I believe that everything I've done in my life, both purposefully, mistakes, proud moments, all of that, they've all combined brought me to the point I'm in now. So I really don't believe in regrets. They've all brought me to the point I'm in now. And I'm very glad, that I've learned from those experiences. I believe that if those things came up again, I will do better. And I'm enjoying my journey. It's not a walk in the park every day, but there are days where you look back and you're like, you're doing well. I'm proud of you. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so excited, really. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. I have said a lot of thank you so much in this episode, but everybody understands. Thank you. Everybody understands. I like the fact that you mentioned that self-discovery is underrated. Doing the things that you want to do because you actually like it, and also leveraging on your personality type. That's like pure good. That's very good advice for young people. And the fact that you're definitely working with other people as well in your organization. That's like my stash. I have diverse kind of listeners in my speaker. So I'm just trying to ensure that this episode touches each and every one of them. For people that are working with you, what are some of the things that I think they call them intrapreneurs, right? People that are innovating within an organization. So what are your take on young people that are trying to find themselves in the marketplace, or maybe trying to build a career for themselves, especially with your own experience working with people and also having different experiences across various boards or various fields?
I think, first of all, shout out to every body who works at my stash. We call ourselves the Stash Force. So I think my stash has been very lucky and blessed for the kind of people that have worked with us and are working with us currently. We have people who are genuine and who genuinely believe in our vision and who go above and beyond. And so you have people who apply themselves to the work, right? And don't necessarily need to be pushed, or you don't have to talk too much. People are very proactive and all of that. And so with regards to being an entrepreneur and then you're trying to find your footing in career and in the workplace, it helps to ensure that you give value and you're valuable to the team wherever you're working, right? You want to understand what is the bigger picture here and how can I help us to get to the bigger picture even faster. There's also the bit of understanding your strengths and playing to your strengths. If you're working in a department and you realize that, oh, I'm very good at this, even if that's not your core responsibility. You could help out. If you have some time on your hands, you have a 9 to 5, and then maybe, by 3 o'clock you're done for the day, but you're still going. Are you just going to sit down and wait for 5 till 5 o'clock before you don't do anything? You can help somebody else. If you see that, oh, okay, I can actually help this person out with this work. And, some people feel like, oh no, why would I do that? They're not paying me for that. But you're also stretching yourself and you're building your capacity. It's like you can't cheat nature, right? You cannot give what you don't have. And so if you're going to hold back in applying yourself in the workplace, especially in places where you can build capacity, it will tell sooner or later. If you're able to, what's it called now, sneak your way into leadership, it will tell that you don't actually have the capacity to lead. So I always advise people, I know I have a mentee who was absolutely like, nah, this is not my work. I'm here for this 9 to 5 o'clock. I'm gone. And when I have conversations with her mindset has changed over time. But when I tell her now, can you imagine how you used to think before? And she just laughs at herself, because now being able to apply herself in the company that she works at, minus the benefits which has gotten, the promotion, increase, and a raise in her salary and all of that, she herself has built capacity. She can do more now. She can handle more. She can multitask. She can prioritize. And now she's heading a department. So it's these are the things that, you want this person, getting more opportunities, that's the person moving forward. And why am I not moving forward? All of us went to the same school, we had the same degrees, but the character is important, right? And the value you're giving is important. People can tell. Everybody is watching, right? Nobody is saying anything, but everybody can see. They can see that attitude you have to work. People can see when we tell you to do this and you shrug. Even it's funny because even in remote companies, you can feel a person's pulse from their conversations, the way they chat, how long it takes to respond. There are so many things, so people can tell, people can see. And so, if for me, like I said, I said earlier, sometime in this conversation about what you give is what you get in the end, right? If you decide that you want to take this career to the next level for you, you just apply yourself, and we know what to do. That's the truth. You see, I found that in advising people, in working in consulting, a lot of the times, 80% of the time, you know what to do. In fact, after 80% of the time, you know 90% of what to do. You just probably don't have the willpower or that push to actually implement and do it. So if you're listening to me and you're thinking, how can I apply myself? How can I be a better entrepreneur in a company? Put it to you that you know what to do to ensure that you're doing better or you're doing well in your department. You know what to do to increase output in your department. You know what to do to make your company better as a whole. You know what to do within your strengths or even outside of your strengths to push yourself better, to build more capacity. So just do it. Like Nike will say, just do it and be better for it.
That's going to be an except in my episode. Just do it. Oh my God. This is a what they used to call like masterclass, like a course. Like you've really, really poured yourself out in this episode. You've really poured yourself out, poured your experiences. I like the fact that you mentioned most of the time we know what to do, but we actually do not, want to do it. And this is also a shout out to your organization, the people that you work with, my stash, thank you. I can see that you've been able to build an healthy working organization with your team, sharing all the innovations you guys have done, and also being a female entrepreneur in a fintech company. So that's really, really nice. So right now, I'm just going to be asking you, we've talked about your experiences from child, how you've been able to maneuver, handling, working in non-profit. You've talked about the impact you're making through the Feed Me Foundation, how you won the Tony Elumelu Grant, which is a big deal. And nobody would say it's not a big deal because it's a big deal and will always remain a big deal. And then founding my stash and all those experiences. So right now, I know some people will be wondering, has Onyinye failed in anything before? Like, I mean, she's done a lot. Like, she's a multi-potentialite and she's been able to harness her skills very well. Has she failed in anything before? And if yes, how did she handle that? So that's my like last question to you before we finally round this up.
I don't believe in failure. I believe in failing forward. right? What do I mean by that? If something doesn't work out, I take the lessons from it and I move on. I try to, what did not work out? Why didn't it work out? And I learn lessons from it. I redo what I need to redo. And if it's a time to, move on, I move on. So I always, my friends know, if it's Onyinye, she tell you feel forward. Like, okay, it did not work out. What did you learn from that experience? And how can you make the next time you're in that situation work out? Okay. So I don't believe in failure. The same way I don't look back, I think of regrets, because I feel like it holds you back, and then you now have to start forgiving yourself and walking through that process of how could I have done this? I just fell forward, look beyond, that disappointment. And really, I don't know. I'm also a Christian, and I also believe that sometimes God just redirects us, right? And so you may be gunning for something, you apply for something, you don't get it, and then you tag it as failure, and then you're down, you're sad, you feel like you're not good enough. Perhaps it just wasn't the right time. I know someone who entered the Tony Elumelu Foundation. The person was awarded the grant in 2021, and she said, thank God that she did not get it the first time she applied. She applied for the first time in 2018. She didn't get it, and then she did not apply again until 2022. And 2021, and she got it. And she has squandered the money and not had made the best use of the opportunity, because there were so many other things going on in her life that would have distracted her and taken the money, because she had spent the money on other things and not her business. But then now that she got it, she's in a clearer position in her life, or in state in her life. She can now make the best decisions for her business, and her business is better for it. So sometimes what we even tell failure may just be redirection. So I truly don't believe in failure. I just believe that, you feel some things don't work out, you have disappointments, you feel forward, you pick the lessons, and you move on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Onyinye, for sharing. This has been a power-packed episode, to be honest, and, sharing your experiences, everything, your growth journey, your learning phases, and huge support that you've gotten from your family. Big shout out to them as well. And also support from my stash, and the innovation you're currently creating with that organization is amazing and superb. I'm definitely going to put all the links towards everything that she has shared. I don't think the Tony Elumelu Foundation Grant is currently open, but I think it's closed. But I'm just going to put the link. There's something called bookmarking. You can bookmark it, put it in your calendar as a young person, as an entrepreneur, that, maybe by this time of the month, I'm going to read through the website, and then you definitely apply for it. And aside from the grant, look out for opportunities, apply some of the lessons that she has shared, and you definitely get more value from it than you would have thought. So she has shared in the episodes that it's what you put into something, that's what you're going to get in. So if you're not putting in the work in your career, in anything that you're currently doing, you would not get the amazing value that you think you would get. And just go ahead and do it. Stop second-guessing yourself. I'm sure if Onyinye second-guessed herself, she would have not done amazing things that she has done in her life. So stop second-guessing yourself. Push out, aim for the best. Have a good, amazing relationship with your family members as well too. And, you will definitely become the best that you can. And above all, build capacity. You can tell from the quality of conversation that I've had with her that she's been able to build capacity over the years, innovate herself, launch her ideas, and also own her journey authentically. She's lived a very full and beautiful life. And I'm so grateful for having you, Onyinye, on this episode. And thank you so much. So this is just me saying at the end of this episode, thanks so much for sending me that message on Instagram. That was what pushed me into starting the second season of this episode. So Onyinye, backstory, I sent me a beautiful message on Instagram about how she found my podcast and everything. And we just started talking from there. And you can see how we recorded this over, this will be almost 2 hours because we've been talking for a while. Over to 1 hour episode, of the Limitless Journey podcast. And I'm really grateful. So just share with us your final words, advice to young people like me that are just starting out life, trying to build their careers, and all of that. And we'll just call this a wrap.
There's so much. I think it really depends on who is listening. But I think one general thing I can say really is know who you are, your strengths, and embrace it, right? And then for anyone who's listening that has diverse interests and talents, and they feel like overwhelmed, like, oh, there's so many paths I could take, there's so many things I could be, I don't know how to go about it. Just take one step at a time. Try different things until you find what works for you and what makes your heart skip, right? And then just do it, really. And the point where you feel like maybe things are not working out, you have to be resilient, but also know when to change, and when to switch gears, when to realize, okay, this is not working, or this is not serving me, so let me do something else. It's very important to know yourself, know your strengths, play to it. And I think another thing is having the right support systems. There are so many ways in which I've been supported: friends, family, mentors. It has been amazing to be able to grow through other people. There's a saying that says that experience is the best teacher, right? But who says it has to be your experience? And that's what having the right support system around you does. You learn from other people's experiences, so you don't have to make mistakes that someone around you has already made. And yes, I'm just going to wrap up by saying, harness your strengths, and you know what to do. Trust me, believe in yourself. You know what to do, so do it. Yeah.
Thank you. And that's the end of today's episode with Onyinye. She is the founder of My Starch, and she has like an amazing personality. Thank you so much for doing this with us and for being a guest in the second season of the Limitless Journey podcast. And if this is your first time listening to Limitless Journey podcast, do well to follow us on all our social media platforms. There you'll be able to get more information and more ideas about when a new episode is definitely going to come out, and you connect more with other people. We also share more opportunities there as well too. And don't forget to subscribe in any platform that you're seeing it. Subscribe, click the notification bells wherever you're listening on this form. And also don't forget, I'm going to link every article or links to Onyinye's, everything she has shared in the comment section or in the description section of this episode. So you'll be able to go through that, create an account with My Starch, start saving, managing your finances properly, and also, applying for the Elumelu grant as well too. So thank you for staying with us till this time. We hope to see you on our next episode. Thank you, and we hope that you have a lovely and amazing time whenever you listen to this episode. Bye.